Hi everyone, this is Mr. West. Today we're doing a worksheet on perimeter and area of triangles. This worksheet can be found none other than mathdrills.com. Be sure to check out the description. There is a link for you to check it out if you want to follow along. Here's the bottom line. We have perimeter, we have area, we have triangles. We need to understand the difference between the two of those, and I'm going to show you it's really not that bad and how to find both of them. Perimeter, we're talking about the sum of the sides. Perimeter is the outside edges of a triangle, okay? Think about a fence. The fence goes a distance around something. So perimeter is around a shape, the distance around. Area is a little bit different. Area is when we're talking about the space inside. So if we're talking about a fence like a yard, the area would be the amount of grass in that yard. Okay, so that's kind of like a backyard example. There's lots of other examples that you can talk about. Square footage in a home, we're talking about the amount of carpet, and so on. So let's talk about how do we find this. Looking at number one, the perimeter. The perimeter is actually the easier of the two. We just need to add the three sides together and we're done. Okay, so if you're in my classes, you should be able to do this on your own. We have 18.7. I'm just adding these up real quick. We know that's 10, that's 9, that's 2. We have 29.0, and now I need to add this 15.6. So I'm just taking my time adding these sides together. And this is great practice using the standard algorithm, and I get 44.6. So my perimeter is 44.6. The units are feet because we're talking about a distance. Okay, now let's talk about area. This one's a little bit more difficult, especially those that struggle with area of other shapes, but kind of a prerequisite. You want to know how to find the area of like a square or a rectangle, okay? Because what you notice about a triangle is it's really half a square. So if I continue, or a rectangle, if I continue this pattern here, you see I have a rectangle, and it's not perfect, but you get the idea. You'll see that it's half the area, okay? I split it in two. There's the whole rectangle, but I only want this half. Okay, so the formula is basically the same as a rectangle as it is a triangle. There's just one difference, and that is we divide by 2 because it's only half. That makes sense, right? Now, the important thing is we have to identify our base and our height. The main important part of this is they have to have a 90-degree relationship to each other. It has to be perpendicular. So if you have that, you're good to go. All right, so we're going to just plug in our values here. We have our area, and now we're doing our base. Our base is 15.6. Our height is 10.3, so we're going to multiply 10.3. And really, I should have used the colors here. Let me go ahead and change this just so you know what I'm doing. Style, let's make this green, and I'm going to make this one red. Okay, and then in the future, I'll show you that you don't really have to, you can do it all in one color. Okay, so I divide here by 2 when I'm done. Okay, so this first part, my classes for sure can do. They can do 15. I'm going to change to blue, actually. I keep changing. So I have 15.6. I'm multiplying it by 10.3. This is a long algorithm here, but it's not bad. Okay, so we do 6 times 3. That's 18. Carry, we got 15, 16. I have 1. And I have 3 times 1 is 3, and then 4. Okay, then I carry the 0, and then all these other ones are going to be 0. 0 times 6, 0 times 5, 0 times 1. Okay, now I have 2 zeros for this bottom row. I have 1 times 6, 1 times 5, and 1 times 1. And then I just add. So I have 8, 6, 10, 1, 6, 1. And I need to put it to 2 decimal places because I go 1, 2. So this is 100.68. And I can independently verify this with a calculator. I'm going to use a calculator for the other ones just because it makes it a whole lot quicker. So I times it by 10.3. And I must have messed up somewhere. Oh, that's a 6. I didn't read my handwriting correctly. That's 160. 160 point. I did say 6, so you can rewind the tape. So that's 160.68 feet squared. Now we're talking about square feet now because we're talking about area. And how you designate that is it looks like that, okay? Feet, and you put that little 2 up, okay? Just like that. 168 point. Oh my gosh, I forgot a very important piece. Almost made a mistake. That'd be if it was a rectangle. I have to divide this by 2 still. So just a quick summary. I don't think my classes have learned this yet. But to divide by 2, we're just going to divide that by 2 out in front. You can actually move that decimal, but I mean, we're going to go ahead and start. So 2 goes into 16 8 times. That's 16. Carry the 0, 0. That goes in 0 times. So it's going to be 80. Okay, point. And then 2 goes in 3 times. And that's 6. That's 0. Carry down the 8. 8. 2 goes in 8, 4 times. So it's 80.34. Okay, just think of what is half of 160.68. And we get, what is that? 80.34. So we have 80.34. Now that I showed you can do it without a calculator, I'm going to use a calculator just to speed this up. Now, let's go actually do number 3 first, and then I'm going to end with number 2, and the rest you'll be able to do on your own, I promise. So here's our base. Actually, you can use any base, okay? But you might as well work with what they give you, okay? They don't give us heights from these bases like that, okay? So if you were to turn your paper or turn the screen, they don't give us a height that's perpendicular. We need a height that's perpendicular, so our height is going to look something like that right there, okay? So that's our height, that's our base. Be very careful that you identify these correctly. So the 7.4 is our base. So our base is 7.4, and our height is this. Keep in mind that the height connects the apex, which is the top of the triangle, the furthest point away from the base, to the base. Okay, so our height, as we said, was 7.4. Our height, no, what I said, my base 7.4, my height is 8.5, and then I have to divide by 2 when I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator for this, 7.4 times 8.5. Divide by 2, that's way quicker. So I get 31.45 miles squared. I'm going to keep the same units. There's my answer. Now, if I'm doing perimeter, now you should definitely be able to do this. I'm going to do this in my, just on my scratch pad here, because you should be able to do that. It's 18.6, and I'm just adding 7.4 in there, and that gives me, that's 10, 1, 16, 1, 26. 26.0. So I had 26.0 miles. That's the whole distance around. And then miles squared, 31.45 miles squared for my area. Okay, so this one's pretty straightforward. Right triangle is pretty straightforward. Acute triangle is pretty straightforward. It's obtuse that are a little weird. Okay, and let me show you how to do it real quick. So first off, perimeter. Again, perimeter, you're just going to add up all 3 of these. That takes us to, what is that, 17.5 with these 2. Okay, let me erase that. 17.5. with the first 2, and I add 4.2 on there, 7, 1, 1, 21.7. So 21.7 is my perimeter, all right? Now, for the area, this is where I got to be careful. What's my base? Well, it's kind of hard to tell, because if I draw my base here, I can't draw a straight line from my vertex to the base and have it be 9 degrees inside the triangle. But I can start at my apex, I think I said vertex, apex, and I can go straight down to have it be in line with it, okay? So the way I like to describe it to my classes is if you have a mountain, I'm going to draw a mountain real quick, and I have snow on that mountain, and here's my mountain, okay? And I want to measure how tall it is, its height. I would start at the peak of the mountain, and I would go straight down to sea level, okay? Or in line with the base of this mountain. It's not part of the base, but it's in line with the base. So my base is 4.2, okay? Base is 4.2. It's not this whole distance there. It's only that 4.2. And my height is the distance from the apex, the top of that summit, all the way to be in line with that base. So it's 6. So my area is going to be 4.2 times 6. I don't know why I changed it to an x. Times 6 divided by 2. Okay, so I'm going to punch that into my calculator. Times 6 divided by 2, and I get area equals 12.6 centimeters squared. So that's how you do an obtuse triangle. Really not that bad, okay, centimeters squared. Again, this one is 21.7 centimeters because it's a distance, it's perimeter, adding up all the outside edges, areas, the space inside, and that's all there is to it. There's 3 more left to do for you, but you know how to do all 3 of those because we did all 3 examples. If you have any more questions, leave a comment. I'll happily respond to it. And make sure to check out more videos like this right here on West Explains Best.